So in terms of the front end, we have a simple page where we're just using two main components, which is the home and the player. So over here, this is not really a focus on front end at the moment, but I'm just briefly touching on it. So this is the game's control. So if we just compare this on how it looks, so over here we have the chess front end, and what we'll see here is we have a player card. So the card just represents the player data, like this over here, what play it is, what symbol it is, and this is a specific component. So if we look into the definition of here, this is just the image, the name, the color, who's currently playing, wins and losses and draws, and so forth. Then we have conditional rendering here that basically says if the message should be shown. So every time an instance happens in the front end where a message needs to be shown, it shows this. If the game is over, it populates just the specific aspect of it. And then this is where we get into the chessboard itself. So we have a simple table here, and the table creates just some files from A to H. We loop through each of the files and create the labels. So this is what we see over here at the top. So if we just see A, B, C up until H, it uses the letters on the files to do that. And then we go through and we create for each rank. So we start at the rank 8 up until it's greater than or equal to 1, and we continuously decrease the rank, and then we create a row in the table, and the row has the rank as a label on the left hand side. So what we see here, 1 up until 8. So we start at 8 and we gradually go down, and then each of these goes through, it takes in the file as well as the index. We loop through the file and the index, which again is this list over here. And then this goes and it basically goes and says, okay, create a position. So this will be, for example, A8, A7, A6, etc. It first starts this way, and then it creates a row for each one this way, down, 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 until all of the rows are completed. And then it decides on whether, if the tile is dark, then it sets it to dark in terms of the styling. Otherwise it sets it to light, and if it's selected, it sets it to blue. So every time when we click on something, like for example here, we can go and see that this is blue, and so forth. When we click on it, it handles an on click. The tile then goes and sets it to, if it's not null, it sets an image. So if there is a piece on the tile, so for example here, these are all just images that are being rendered in the background. Again, the images are all under the WW root. We have the styling is in here as well for each of the chessboard and the labels. So yeah, that's sort of at a high level how the template itself looks for what we're using. We're using Blazor for the specific application. In here we have a bunch of different items. So like we have the game manager. The game manager is what manages the entire game, and it exposes the functionality that's internal to the game itself. We have some show messages. So this is all the stuff that's in here is game over. It's all controlled by the code behind. We have the message, the class name of the message, with the pieces being selected, if the game is over, the winner. And we also have the on clicks over here, which handles the click, and then it just selects that specific piece if it has been clicked. So if it's clicked, so in other words, if we click it the first time, it will select it, and if we click onto a second piece the second time, it will move it. So that's sort of how the move functionality works. And if you click a piece, we every time set the message to clear, to not show any messages, or to make the message go away. We deselect all the tiles, and then we just go and we select the piece. There's some validation in here that happens, and then it just selects the tile for the position that was clicked. And then when it moves a piece, there's just some show move messages in here, and then it'll move the actual piece. If the move was not successful, then we display the message that we get back from the move response. Here we have the different checks that king's danger states are: checkmate, stalemate, check. So then we have a look whether it contains the message, and if it does contain the message, then we know that the king is in danger and display that message. And then the last is that we have a check if the game is over. If the game is over, then we update the score, we set the game to is over and the winner. And then lastly, we have the undo functionality. All of this is implemented within the game manager, that uses the sets and the structures to basically facilitate the undo as well as the reset. So if we just have a look at this here briefly, we can see this is all implemented by the game. So that's it from the front end perspective.